Hello, buenos dias, buongiorno. What's doing? Welcome to another Chimi's Creative Club. I am your host, your person here, the artiste, Chimi, and today we're gonna get into some things, okay? So first things first, I got to do the YouTube things allegedly so people can find me. So, if you're here, good morning, Miss Christy. How are you? If you're here, the like stuff, subscribe, all that. We already talked about this last time. Okay. The people who are meant to find me, welcome. You're here. This is your lighthouse of positivity and nice things. So, good morning, Choose Peace. Welcome, welcome, Terry. Oh my God, my gorgeous mods. I know they're here, but I just want to make sure everyone can hear me okay. Everything's good. Yes. I want to get into a story before we get started on our third installation of our I series. So if you haven't caught the first two, well, the first one I did on my own, but the second one we did together. This was the first one. This is the second one. Kind of iconic. So we need to make a third. And since we're working with complementary colors, we're going to do the last set, which is green and red. So Terry, if you can just give me like a heart or something that you can hear me, or anyone in the chat, just let me know. Just want to make sure it sounds good and everything's okay. Before I share my beveragino. Hello, Succulent Saturday. I kind of love that. Hello, Freeze Frame. Yes, okay, thank you. So for my beveragino of choice with the lid, because Miss Terry and Miss 808 will tell you that the last time we were on the phone together, I spilled my coffee everywhere. So I learned my lesson, and we have a maple pecan by Nespresso, and we'll get into Nespresso in just a second. But yes, a maple pecan espresso with a little splash of whole milk, but keeping it very cute. So let's try it. Let's make sure that it's okay. Yes, amazing. Okay, beautiful. So coffee is piping hot. It's delicious. So let's get into my little story time before we get into our painting, as I take out the paints that we're going to use. So I called Nespresso because I order, my pods all the time. And yesterday I ordered like a pretty substantial order. Okay. And usually they're very good about like having them come and deliver it to your door and, all the things. So I get an email this morning. I see it that at 11, almost like midnight, my package was delivered. So I checked my app to see, has anybody entered the chat? I don't know. Is anybody at the door? Is my coffee there? No, it's not. So I was like, fine, it's okay. Like sometimes that happens, whatever. So I end up calling Nespresso and I was like, hey, I didn't get it. It's not on my, Ring app. What's going on? This has never happened before, because they were very on top of it. And it's the first time since I've been a customer with them for like 5 years that this has happened. So the lady was very nice, very sweet. She's like, don't worry about it. We'll send you a whole new one. Cool. So my child right now is in dance class. So my husband takes her so that I can be live with you folks. And he's like, the coffee is down here by the garage. What? What are you doing there? So me being the good person that I am, because I am not trying to accrue bad karma, I called Nespresso and I'm like, hey, actually the person just delivered it to the wrong place. And I guess it was just easier for them to leave it in front of the garage. Fine. So I call and I talk to the agent. I let him know. And he's like, yeah, that's fine, whatever. And before he hangs up, he's like, have a nice life or have a wonderful life. I was like, you too. Like, what? What happened to have a good day? Like now we're like wishing wonderful lives on people. I'm here for that. Tea. So I'm going to live my wonderful life. Okay. And we're going to get on the next installation of the eye. Hi, Miss Life. Artist is in the chat. Hello. Welcome. So let's get into it because, we have a crunch time of like about 12:30 today, Eastern. So let's get started. So I did not clean this. That's okay. It's none of your business. All right. I have my little canvas here. It's the same size as the others. And let's get started with some red. So what I want to do is, I think the approach for this one is going to be to do mostly red for the most part in the background because I want the eye to be green and really just stand out. So we're going to go ahead and just kind of like do different shades of red. So what am I feeling in this one? Some scarlet red. Yes, let's do some scarlet. Okay, some scarlet. Ooh, some crimson red. Yes, I love a crimson moment. Yes. Let's do some, what is Rose Matter? Where is Miss Rose? Miss Rose, yes. Oh, listen, Miss 808 has entered. She has entered the chat, my girl. So, okay. Now, we're going to open these because I did not use this. Oh, not you shading. It's heavy body. Listen, we're all about body positivity here, okay? And health, all right? Not you calling this one heavy body. Anyway, so Miss 808, you missed my Nespresso today. I'm having a maple pecan in your honor. In your honor, girl. Yes, period. All right, so we got some Rose Madder. I've never heard of this color before. Sounds very interesting. Let's move these little babies over here. Let's do some crimson next. Love this. It's a nice deep red. This one also says heavy body. Oh, this brand is just shading all of the paints today. Okay, I see how you work. Oh, that crimson is beautiful. That would be a beautiful lip color. Stop it. It would be so pretty. All right, and now scarlet. The scarlet. The scarlet red. Let's see. Oh, she's a little bit brighter. She's kind of similar to Rose Madder. Actually, not really. Rose Madder is a little bit more. I'll show you in just a second. It's a little bit darker. Then, of course, we're going to go with our titanium. We need to have titanium white around just in case if we need to lighten things up. And then while we're at it, you know what? Let's get some greens out. Let's just see what our options are. So let me grab the rest of these down here. The first thing I saw, light sap green. Sounds like a choice. Emerald green, because that's my birthstone. Yes. And since I'm feeling the trios, since this is the last of the trios, let's do some pale green too. And let's get these colors on here. So how's everyone doing? Tell me everything. How's your week been? And thank you to everyone who showed up to my impromptu live on Tuesday night. I'm so happy we got to finish the flower crown. Bedazzled it till no tomorrow. Like, I have not bedazzled that much in my entire life, but I'm very pleased with how it turned out. It was definitely an experience. Lots of glue fumes. If you know, you know, if you do this type of stuff, there's lots of fumes. Thank you. Yeah, it turned out really beautiful. I'm trying to like finish this series because I'm one of those people that's so annoying with like how your feed looks. There has to be like consistency. So like, I'll wait to post the crown after I do all the eyes together. The Swerve Show is here. Good morning, buenos dias, buongiorno, ciao, what's up? What's up, Swerve Show? Welcome, welcome. Thank you for being here. I'm just getting my paints together. We're just doing a little paint. Oh, look at this. This emerald is, listen, I have, look, I was blessed to be gifted an emerald, and this is not the color. I don't know what, who told you that you were emerald? That's a mentira. I'm sorry. You've been lied to. You've been gaslit, girl. That's not it. Sorry. But you know what? We're going to work with you anyway. All right. So let's get started. So like I said, we have our canvas. I'm trying with the setup, you guys. At some point, we'll get very fancy in the pants and we'll be able to do, the whole camera right here and all the angles where you're looking like it's the news, we'll do all that. So we have our cupparino with our water. My cat is nicely tucked in. Thank you. Stay there. And let's get started. So tell me everything. Tell me everything, everyone. Oh, and we have also our little plate. We like to reuse things here. We don't like to be wasteful. So let's get started. And we're using right now my fave, don't tell the others, number 10 flat brush. Okay, so let's go in with, let's see, one of these reds. 1, 2, or 3. Let's go with the lightest because at least when we start light, you can build the dark around it. So let's get this one here. I think this was the scarlet red. Yeah, this is the scarlet red. let's get started. Yes, my cupparino with my beveragino. Hold on, cheers. We didn't even cheers. Oh, who am I? Cheers to all of you wonderful people. Thank you for spending your morning with me. Love it. Okay. So, what's been new? Tell me everything. Ooh, she is red. This is, oh, we're going to have to dilute her a little bit. But she is very red. Okay, we're just going to do that. All right. Ooh, I already know this painting is going to be a little bit of a challenge. I already feel it in my bones, but it's okay. Hopefully it's not going to be looking like Lucifer's like playground up in here. It's all red and like, look at this. Like, I mean, not creepy at all. What is happening? I'm just going to keep painting very lightly. We are not invoking anything crazy, okay, by the color of the scarlet red, okay? Like, yeah, we're not doing that. But anyway, yeah, I'm just very glad that we got that flower crown. Yes, not today, not tomorrow, Satan, not ever, okay? But yeah, I'm just happy that we finished the flower crown. Like, it definitely took me back to like a time where, you know, like as I'm doing all of this again, it just brings back all the memories of when I used to do this online a lot. And there's parts and aspects of it that I miss. I can't say that I miss all of it. I think that the having to push out content was probably the hardest part for me, because then it just doesn't feel natural. And having to keep up with an algorithm is just not, I don't vibe that way. And if you know anything about a Taurus is very slow, methodical, and we like to move with intention. It's not ever like rush to do things. Okay. Like, we're very much, I like to take my time. I like to make sure I see all the steps. I don't like to feel rushed in a lot of the processes, which is part of my stubbornness, because I'm like, y'all not going to push me into doing something or into believing something without me coming to that conclusion on my own. And that's kind of how I feel about a lot of things, because I don't like to feel like I have to believe something just because the collective or it's the popular thing to believe. I'm going to do my own research to formulate my own opinion first. Hi, critical thinking. Have we met? And then, you know, come to my decision from there. I just think that like nowadays, though, it's like you get kind of ostracized for saying, you know what, I just want to wait for a little bit. I want to see how things play out, because we're just so conditioned to have everything at a moment's notice without having to wait for things to kind of marinate a little bit. Have you had a chicken breast that was marinating for 5 minutes versus overnight? You know the difference. It just takes a little bit of time, but then it tastes better when you just let things like, you know, kind of do its thing and let them work themselves out. And that's kind of like why, like with content creation and making stuff, it's kind of become like, I don't know, it just becomes like a rat race in itself, and it takes the joy out of doing it. You know, like I don't want to do, yes. You know, I try to think of analogies for people, because like this is how my brain operates. Like, I don't know, I can't tell you anything else. Like, that's just what it is. It just is what it is. Hello, K Jara. Is it Jara or Jara? Because I want to say Jara, honey. Yes. Good morning. Thank you for being here. So we're just, you know, chit-chatting. I shared my Nespresso story a little bit earlier. So I might get a free order, assuming if they didn't cancel it on time. But, you know, like the right thing to do is to call them to be like, look, the person just made an error in where they delivered my coffee. And I appreciate that you want to send it to me, but I found it, you know, like you got to remember, like little things like that. The universe is clocking those moments. You know what I mean? Like you have to be mindful of that too. Like sometimes it's like, yeah, you could get a free coffee and save like however much money, but then it's like, I just don't feel right. Like, it's like the right thing to do is to be like, hey, they just made a mistake and, you know, they delivered it to the wrong place. So I don't know. I could have it all messed up. Who knows? At this point, like they say in Espanol, ¿quién sabe? I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. I mean, this right now is, I mean, if I was participating in the true crime community, this would be it. It's giving, you're about to see. I should get a wider brush so that this process goes a little bit faster, but there is something nice to like use. Look, it's no offense because I love you, but it is nice to kind of have like a smaller brush to like add those details and be a little bit more intentional. Oh my God, that was such an artist thing to say. Hi, I just want to be intentional about how I do it. You know? But I don't know. I kind of like that it's like, you know, you have a little bit more control. I feel like, I don't know, artists in the chat, how do you feel? Like, you know, like you're just like, it's a little bit more controlled. I don't have control issues. I did. Okay, pause. Everyone has control issues. I don't care what anyone says, but it's a work in progress. You know, I'm working on that. And I think it's definitely rooted in like, you know, not having it as a child or whatever. Everything is rooted to like something in your childhood. Jeez. I'm all over the place, you guys. This is making me a little anxious. I'm not going to lie. This red is very red. I'm going to show you right now where we're at. Okay. So, you know what I mean? Like, is something going to summon out of this thing? I don't know. Let's say, no. God, thank you for your protection. Please allow this painting to be popping and lock in and all of the wonderful things. It'll be fine. So speaking of that, you know what this reminds me of? Did anyone see, I don't know if anyone follows like royal news. Life, yes. Okay, yes, Miss Jara. Yes, Miss Jara. I just love that. You do paint with red all the time? Listen, but to get back to what you said before, when our nervous system is not calm, we seem to control our environment in order to feel safe. 100%. I can 1000% resonate with that. And I 100% agree with you. It's just so unfortunate, right? Because it's like, imagine if we just allowed for, okay, now that I'm adding the deeper red, I mean, it just going into a different realm right now of the underworld. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, it's true. Like, I think that like when you are younger and you don't have the ability to have a say or whatever the case may be, when you become an adult, that is the consequence of having that happen to you. It's like now you want to control everything, but then at what point does it become too much, right? Because I think people don't talk about that either. It's like awareness is part of it, right? But then doing something about it is the part that a lot of people tend to miss. Because I could sit here all day and be like, my childhood was blah, blah, blah. But am I going to continue to project my childhood traumas onto others? No, that's different. So we can say like, yeah, we all have these problems, but at some point it takes for you to recognize those issues and figure out a means in which to not allow that to become a part of your everyday, where now you become the very problem that you received, right? Like there's a lot of that going on, I think, in real time right now. I mean, we see a lot of people, like, especially because the whole internet has become a place for therapy talk, people who are trying to figure out their lives, trying to find commonality amongst others. But then there isn't any real accountability attached to that. So you have a lot of reckless people just doing reckless things and blaming it on their childhood, but then they don't do anything about it. So it's like, so then what do you expect to happen? You know, like you can't think that like things are going to change or like woe is me forever. Like at some point you have a choice. I had to recognize that even with myself, like, why am I still complaining about the same stuff and not learning forgiveness? Or why am I not, you know, understanding that these things didn't happen? And I mean, it's very cliche to say they didn't happen to me, they happened for me. And you may not be able to see that in the moment when it's something very tragic or it's something very, you know, traumatizing, whatever the case may be. But there is power in being able to not let that stuff impact you going forward, where you're not letting it take over your life and be the center of like how you make decisions. Like, I mean, at some point it's like, all right, well, you're 60 years old now, you're 70 years old, you're 80 years old, and you're still holding on to this stuff. Like, at some point you've allowed a whole chunk of time to be wasted or to not be fully lived because you hold on to things and because you just feel so justified in being comfortable in that energy. But yes, it is a process. Yeah, no, look, I'm here for anyone who's like trying to figure it out and unpack it. It's hard. It is hard work. And I think that that's when people tell you, and I'm notorious for saying this to a lot of people, even to myself, do the work. Do the work is the first starts with the awareness, right? And again, I'm not a licensed therapist. I don't want anyone to be like, oh, she's giving me, this is not advice, like legal, medical, any type of advice. This is just, we're having a conversation, like we're friends. So I don't want to hear it, you know, like, oh, Chimi said this. No, Chimi is just having a conversation and painting, you know, maybe the seventh ring of hell right now. I don't know. It's giving very much that. But you know what? Maybe we need to tap into our very dark side. Maybe the integration needs to happen. It's happening right now. I'm exercising the shadow aspects of myself into this very red. Anyway, but yeah, like, I just think that like, as long as you have the awareness, you know what's happening, you have the power to control it. And people forget that like the lack of control doesn't mean that now you over control. I struggled with that for sure. Like, I wanted everything to be a certain way. And it doesn't help that my zodiac sign is notorious for that too. Like, I wanted it to be perfect. I wanted this. If something, like, I was the type of person that if I started a workout program and I missed a day, I would start the whole thing from the beginning, even if I was like midway through. That type. I mean, I don't know. Is that OCD? Kind of. It's a little OCD. It's a little like over obsessive. It's a little neurotic. I mean, very much so. But I didn't really like, it didn't really hit me until later that I'm like, why am I punishing myself? I just spent like 3 weeks doing this program. And now here I am punishing myself to start it over because I didn't complete a day, and I would be so hard on myself about it. No more. It's such a waste of time. And it's just a very toxic cycle. And it's like, at some point it's like, all right, well, we know where it stems from. So how do you fix it? And the fixing just comes from you acknowledging first, and then just making an effort to not repeat those patterns. So I love to, you know, preach about pattern recognition. Well, part of the pattern recognition is to also know when not to do it to your own detriment, right? Like, we forget that we have more power and control than we give ourselves credit to. Okay, first of all, now it's going somewhere. I didn't add any white, but something about mixing it like this is, oh yes, it's starting. I love that. I love texture on the back of paintings. It just like really just brings like a little bit more like life artists. Yes. Okay, so you get it. Yes. Okay, so everyone understands. I think we all struggle with like a version of this, our nervous system's needing a little bit of a reset. And, you know, I can only share from my own experience that what I do is meditation is key. Meditation, grounding work. I know it gets looked upon in like a very like, you know, like, oh, that stuff doesn't work. It only doesn't work because you're expecting things to change overnight, and that's not how it works. The work is in the commitment to be disciplined to continue. That's what people don't really tell you. The work is hard because you have to show up every day. Doesn't just happen tomorrow. You have to be there. You have to truly experience it. You have to really commit. You have to have faith. You have to like literally pray that, you know, in those hardest moments that God is going to be like, which he always will be there. God will be there for you, that you can get through another day. Not all days are going to be perfect. They're not going to be, ideal, but that's a part of the process, is to know that growth is difficult. Change is difficult. It's why most people resort to not doing it because then it just completely changes how you've lived your whole life. And most people are not ready to give that up because they're more afraid of the unknown than they are to take a chance on themselves to do better. Yes. Hi, Magic. Listen, with magic in your name, honey, and you're using sage, tell me more or say less. I mean, but yeah, like when you sage, you cleanse. I mean, whatever it is that you do, because like this world is the upside down, in my opinion. It's the upside down. Okay. It feels like the upside down. It feels like this cannot be real. I don't feel like I belong here. And not to, quote the lady who has her podcast, Sarah, I think. And I'm sorry if I don't know her last name. I don't know, it starts with a B. Hi, Miss Erin. Yes, okay, period. I got you while you're driving. I got you, girl. So yeah, like what was I just saying? Because I got distracted by my girl, Miss Erin, because she's so fabulous. But oh yeah, the upside down. I feel like we're living in the upside down. This doesn't feel real. Everything about the struggle, everything about suffering, everything, like it's like we all have this commonality of we've all been through really awful things. There's like things seem to be getting worse. People are like losing their marbles. Like what's happening? Is it just me? I don't know how I feel about all this. I don't know how I feel. I just feel like something's wrong and this isn't real life. This isn't what I think our creator intended for us. So have we been hijacked? I don't know. Certainly feels that way. When I look around and it feels like there's like robots walking around and in human form because they're void of a soul. Has anyone ever experienced that? I was telling Terry that yesterday, that like I don't know if it's a part of like my spiritual practice where like when I meditate, it's kind of opened up something in me where like I see a lot clearer now. Like I can feel if someone's empty. What? Like that's creepy. And I didn't know that was like a thing. And then I'm like, oh wait, no, it's actually real. Like there are empty vessels. Lots of them, lots of empty people. Like they just like, it's almost like they step so far away from their divinity that they're just not here. It's very weird. It's very weird. Miss Jara, listen, meditation is hard for me too. I think that when you have like any type of anxiety or anything like that, like what's helped me, unsolicited advice, of course, is to kind of like calm my nervous system down first before I meditate. Because I think because we are also overly stimulated, we don't know where to start with stuff like that. So I tend to try to get like a workout in. I'm a big believer in somatics. I don't know if anyone is very familiar about it, but I know I've mentioned it before. Probably not here, but I have talked about somatic exercises, and it's just kind of like to help you kind of calm your system. So like they'll have a lot of like small movements that you can do, whether it's like to tap yourself or whatever the case may be, kind of like shake off, like literally like do these movements of like moving the energy off and just like getting it out. So I do that sometimes if I'm feeling a little extra, to kind of calm my nervous system down and then be able to get into focus mode for meditation. Because the thing is like meditation, I feel like is different for everyone. I don't think that there is really a clear way, and I could be wrong, of like how to meditate, because if your thoughts are always going, I guess the key is to turn off your brain, but this brain cannot turn off. So I've turned it into prayer meditation. So like, I'll just be like, I'm just going to just stay here and sit and keep my eyes closed and just ask God to like keep me calm and breathe. So, you know, like they'll say like expand your belly to breathe in and then get all of that air in, and then exhale, like bring your belly in. So do like a couple of those to really start calming down. And then I'll get into like true meditation mode, which has become vision mode. Y'all, I'm not going to get into the nitty gritty of it because I feel like that part is sacred. But what I will say is that meditation has been very insightful in revealing things that I'm like, huh? It's not making sense, y'all. It's not making sense. All right. So before we get there and get into that, this is where we're at. So I added some of the very dark crimson red. You know what this is reminding me of? Let me see if I can pull it up on my phone. Where's my phone? Here it is. Listen, maybe this eye is to alchemize what I saw and what I'm about to reference. Okay. Thank you, coffee. You are lovely per usual. I'm not even going to say what it is, but this painting. Ay, el diablo. Ay, Dios. Mira, no disrespect to these people, okay? Do you see that? Let me see if I can put this down a little bit. You see what I mean? It's giving. I mean, very similar. Yes, the King Charles, honey. Listen, when I saw that painting, I was like, oh, I rebuke in the name of Jesus, knock on wood. Because I'm not playing with that, okay? Like, that's what it's giving. But we are not summoning those people, okay? Because I have a problem. You know what I do? You know what? We are going to get into that. We are going to get into that in just 1 second because I have something to say about that. Let me tell you something. But before we do that, actually, hold on. Yes, I'm going to make it more fire. I'm going to add some green. You know, we need some contrast here and, you know, some white, maybe a little orange. I don't know, but we're going to need to add a little bit more to that because I definitely don't want it to give, you know, King Charles into the red. I mean, where do I start with these people? I'm going to go into my lighter green and see what happens. All right, there we go. So monarchies. I don't understand the obsession with monarchies. I don't understand how any group of people can claim for this many hundreds of thousands of years or whatever that they are superior or divinely given the right to just go into someone else's land, claim it for themselves, have all these jewels and money, not really work, like their royal duties are to do what? Steal some more? Hold a baby's hand that's dying of cancer? Like that's what we're doing? And y'all don't really care? You don't donate anything? I mean, and look, I don't know for sure. I'm not British. If for anyone who understands the monarchy or anything like that, like cute, fine. But allegedly I saw on X that King Charles is leaving. There's like some red envelope or red leather envelope clause that has happened recently where Charles is going to inherit everything and be the sole proprietor to the entire monarchy legacy, the royal money, everything. Like it's worth over 1 point something billion dollars, right? And I think he did that. He'll be like the sole heir because, you know, Miss Camilla's starting ways. No disrespect, no shade, but we're calling it what it is. She thought she was going to be la reina, the queen. And even from the afterlife, see, this is why Queen Elizabeth was a Taurus, because even in the afterlife, she was still sunning her. Because she was like, absolutely not. You didn't see the red leather envelope that says that Charles gets everything. The youngest one, the oldest son. And poor Harry. Ay, Dios mío, poor Harry. I feel like always the redheads get shunned. I don't know. It's like the redheads always got something. You know what I mean? Like, pobrecito. He lost, like, I mean, the other one is practically bald. The stresses of being a monarch, a potential king. You know, la otra, what's her name? Meghan Markle. No comment on Meghan Markle, whatever, because she would love that. Even if it's a nobody, she wants all that heat. She wants all that smoke. She wants to know everything. She wants to be popular. She wants to be the girl. She wants to be that girl. And look, she convinced Harry to leave his whole family. That's why Elizabeth, before she died, she's like, listen, before I go, I'm going to make this one the sole proprietor, because all these ladies, and I'm not saying the, you know, the other word I would like to call them, because I'm trying to keep it PG, but all these people trying to be all up in my monarchy, ruining our lineage. Absolutely not. So even in the afterlife, she's still shady. That's a true Taurus. Listen. She said, absolutely not. You are not coming for these jewels, baby. This stays in the familia, okay? So even from the afterlife, she's like, my son is dumb, okay? My oldest is only going to be a king for like 3 days. His son will inherit everything. And listen, Camilla, you tried it. You tried it. And it didn't work. Oh, cute. Listen, you need to play that, ring that bell. Listen. Yes, Camilla, listen. And poor Diana. Diana, yo, you can see it in her eyes. Like, she definitely was giving blink twice. I need to be saved. Poor lady, RIP. Because she was literally like interviews like, I think so. You know what I mean? Like, you know, like she was always giving that. Like she was giving like, yo, hear me, bro. Like they have me hostage type shit. You know what I mean? Nobody listened to her, pobrecita. She was so loved. And that's the thing. She was naturally loved. Like she didn't have to try. Like she was a very nice person. And to me, it doesn't matter if you have money or don't have money. You as a good person resonates, you know, like people feel that. And she's one of those. But Camilla, you could see her face. She got that scandalosa face. She's like, Mrs. Steal Your Man. Miss, I don't care about being the side piece chicken nugget. You know, I don't mind being the 4-piece with a side of fries to your Whopper meal, you know, or sorry, a mixed brand. Oh, no, not Burger King and McDonald's competing, but it's one of those. You know what I mean? She don't care. There's females out here that are like that, and men. They got no shame. No tienen vergüenza. They don't even care. She was like, I'm going to take your man and show you. Damn, like cold-blooded. Like, no, ew. Can't relate. Ew. Absolutely not. Oh my gosh, there's all these comments over here. Yes, Magic, I did show the crown. It's in the last stream, but I'm going to do a short with it after I finish this whole thing because my feed has to be like I crown and then whatever else, because that's my OCD kicking in, you know. But if you would like to check the last stream, you can go ahead and see it there. It's very bedazzled. Miss Michelle Beach was in the chat and she let me know that more is more. And I agree, more is more. But yeah, Miss Camilla, listen. She tried it. Listen, and Miss Royal Highness was like, "Yeah, I know about that. You might have fooled this clown because my son is an idiot. No disrespect. My son is not the brightest tool in the shed. But I see you, female to female. I see you. Mm-hmm. I've been around this monarchy block a couple times, all right? You don't got me fooled." He's probably like, "Mommy, but I love her," you know? Sure you do. Did he say something very escandaloso too? Like he was like, oh, if I could be, you know, your sanitary napkin or something like that. I don't even know, yo. It was mad nasty. I'm like, y'all on some different stuff. You are on some different that's romantic to you? Oh, yes, Charles, please. No, ew. Yo, I cannot with these people. Like, y'all have too much money. Y'all bored. That's the problem. Y'all are bored. Y'all ain't got nothing else better to do. Like, you guys are like referring to each other in these really grotesque ways. You call that romantic? I know. With romance like that, honey, then there is no hope for us regular folk. You know, like, no. I don't understand it. I don't. It's like, it's giving, like, has anybody watched The Tudors? First of all, what was his name? That actor is so good. What was his name? He's just so funny because, like, he was always yelling. Like, and I guess monarchs do that. I don't know. I'm not a monarch. I don't know. In my own right, I am a queen. But, you know, it's different. It's very different. Okay? These people they're moving in very different circles that I don't understand. Y'all giving some shapes that I have never seen before. Because if a man ever told me that, I would be like, so I'm going to get an Uber and get the hell out of here. Oh, to be a sanitary napkin. Like, that's nasty. Like, that's some occult stuff. Like, tell me without telling me that you guys are practicing that stuff. Okay? You want to be all up in her hoo-ha? In her royal hoo-ha? No. Absolutely not. No puede ser. No, 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 no. Okay, she's giving. It must be different. Yes, Jonathan Myers. He's so funny to me. That guy, he's such a good actor. Like, if you watch The Tudors, he did such a great job as King Henry. Like, and then they had like the first queen. What was her name? Catherine. And she's like, I'm going to pray for you, my king. Like, you know, because she was from España, but she was like an Irish lady playing a Spanish queen. But you know what? I gave it to her because the accento was there. Yes, the accento was there. 100% it was there. Because some of these other folk, I'm like kind of like, you know, has anybody watched Euphoria? I only watched the first season of that. But like, why are y'all picking, first of all, why are we glorifying or kind of getting into the world of how teenagers run their lives with adults simulating, you know, or becoming teens? And then we're watching them do inappropriate things. And it's like, I don't want to know that 16, 17-year-olds do that. It's not because I'm dumb, but it's like, why do we need to see that? Because y'all nasty. That's why. That's why. Y'all nasty. But anyway, yes, the monarchy, I don't know. Yo no sé, I don't know. God bless. Because, you know, y'all have real God to answer to. Because I don't know what possesses people to think that they're better than other people, to be like, let me take over your land and now it belongs to me. I mean, we see it everywhere. And then us regular folk are like, yo, I don't want to be a part of this show. Un show. I don't want to be in this show. Excusamente, I don't want to be here participating in this crap. But, you know, what do I know? What do I know? That's my line now. What do I know? We're just only in the upside down. That's what we're doing. We're in the upside down today. Who's that, Miss 808? I don't know that person. Be the sanitary napkin. How gross. Ew. Oh, Camilla. First of all, like, what did he say to her? Like, mira how romantic. Our grandparents were together. Maybe we should give it a go. Yes. What? And she's like, yeah. Not my bun. Oh, anyway, whatever. It'll be fine. Anyway, these royals are out of control. We already know that. And listen, let me tell you something. Prince Andrew, first of all, I'm not calling him Prince. All right. Like, let's stop with all this stuff. Y'all don't do nothing but, like, you know, use your Dike lineage to start grifting off of everybody else, to make believe and to believe into this fantasy that y'all better than us. And then you're doing all those atrocities. Mira, señor. No. And y'all knew about it. That's the thing that bothers me. It's like, you guys knew that this stuff was happening, but all of you were mum's the word. And we're all supposed to still respect the fact that you have a higher place in society and deserve to be called, and we have to curtsy to you. Okay. You won't catch me in London. Nope, I'm good. I can make fish and chips here. I can make it here. Okay. Oh no, you see, like, that makes me sad that, like, people were, when people pass on certain shows, because, my brain already operates in a different level. I'm like, oh, it's a cult. And more than likely it is. Oh, it's giving very moody. Stop. She's moody. Maybe this is my internal rage being manifested into this canvas right now. I don't know. But yes, royalty my culo. Okay, royalty my culo. Yep. Royalty where? Because, honey, like, that's one thing. I'm sure, like, right now it looks very cute on the outside. I thought about that. I'm like, maybe these people have to live comfortable lives because they can't exist comfortably within themselves. Because if you think about it, all of the richest people in the world have access to everything: money, power, cars, clothes, jewels, food, like flights, catching flights, doing all the things. But they have all of these riches only to be what? Still miserable? There's a disconnect there that's not really making sense to me. Like, I don't know if that makes sense to people. Hello, Miss Graciela. First of all, shout out to you, okay? Because que tengas un día hermoso también. Like, first of all, y'all need to follow this queen right here, Miss Graciela, because Gracie, okay, Miss Gracie, because she every day still gets up, does what she has to do, and despite the pain that she's in, will be dancing for all of us and to give herself a little extra oomph. So shout out to you for that, because truly, like, you could be anywhere else doing anything else and you still choose to be lighthearted and fun and be fabulous with your glasses, girl, because I saw them. And, good for you and God bless. Like, I hope you feel better and everything works out for you, truly, because, there's a lot of people out here that would take their pain and you're turning it into power, believe it or not, because you're inspiring people to just be like, look, despite my circumstances, I'm still out here. Yes. I'm still out here. I'm not going to give up. I'm going to show up. I'm going to do what I got to do. So you know what? I appreciate you. And thank you so much for being here. In addition to everyone here who's joining me on this beautiful Saturday morning, Eastern New York time. And that's actually Miss Life's friend, Miss Gracie. So I really just appreciate all of you being here, all the artists, all the fabulous people. Thank you. Like, it's such an honor, you guys. I can't. It's so overwhelming. I'll probably cry later because I'm such a softie with these things. Like, my husband's always like, like, I'll tell him, he'll find me randomly just being like staring into the ceiling. And I'm like, my life is so wonderful, you guys. I know so many wonderful people. Like, it's just such a blessing. I love it. It's just really, truly awesome. So thank you so much for being here. And to everyone who's here to take the time and energy to spend some time here, like, I really appreciate you all. This is giving very much like, moody watermelon. I'm just looking at it now. I'm getting very moody watermelon. Okay, that's fine. It's fine. It's fine. But anyway, where were we before I was giving Miss Gracie her flowers? She deserves the garden. All of you do. We were talking still about these Dike monarchs, okay, whatever they are. And it's no disrespect. I'm just like, I'm at the point in my life now where I'm like, no one's going to tell me that they're better than me because of like access to money, food, whatever the case may be. If your soul is not intact, honey, then I mean, seems like we're not going to the same place. So I don't really care. You know, like you could say whatever you want, you could have all the riches in the world, but it's clear that you only get happy if I'm miserable who has less than you. Did I hear that correctly? I don't know. But I don't mess with that. You got to think about that. And that's not only just here, it's in your regular everyday life too. Like there's a lot of people that you're just like, really? You have all this and you're pressed about me? That doesn't make any sense. But that's true. I mean, money, all these things don't buy you happiness. So that's why these people, you know, are the way that they are. But, you know, that's why we have to rebuke that. You know, God did not say that this family was supposed to be better than everyone. And that man has a painting where he looks like, you know, the son of El Diablo. Okay. Like that's not what it is. Nope. Because if you need to rule over people, then you already are defying God. Check that. Go take that to the bank. If you have to rule over people, then you are defying God. So miss me with your churches and the royal this, that, and the third, because royalty does not mean that you control people. That's not what that's about. Who told them that? What part in whatever text that they got that is gate kept am I missing something? Because according to God, we all have free will. So why is it that royalty or anybody who is in a position of power abuses it by wanting to rule over other people? Y'all got the game messed up. No disrespect. That's just what it is. That's not how God intended that to be. So for anyone saying that that's what it is, I 1000% disagree. Period. Yes, Miss Gracie. And that's what I'm saying. Like, you have people that are queens and kings in their own right. But just because, well, we don't live in a castle, that doesn't mean that we can't behave as such or treat each other better. You have to be in a position of power to do good things. Your position of power is subjective to how you carry yourself. So if you're going to be somebody who is carrying yourself with misery and torture and all that stuff, then fine, that's your choice. But just because you have a title attached to you doesn't mean that you live by it. Because why I feel like this is the upside down is because even royalty, what is royalty? If you were to strip the jewels and the facade, what is at the core of that royalty? Some might say it's a reptilian, allegedly. Okay, I don't know. I don't make the rules. I only say what I repeat, what I've seen online, allegedly for entertainment purposes only. So is that what we're doing? Like, I'm confuzzled. No entiendo. Okay, I don't understand. I don't understand. So just really question that. And I think that we are at a point where people are tired of this stuff and like tired of this nonsense of like, oh, these people are, you know, we have to curtsy and bow down to people. I'm not, listen, like I said the last time, my soul has been rebellious for a very long time. Guillotine. Okay, I'm not playing with that. I'm not doing that. I don't think that anyone was born better than anybody else. It's a choice that you have. If you want to be who you want to be, great. But that doesn't mean that I have to agree with you or buy into that. That's the difference. No one has to buy into the agenda, into the story, into whatever it is. Because at the end of the day, I wasn't there, so I can't vet it properly. And if I could remember what happened to me in 1396, I would tell you. But I don't know, you know? And even with royalty, the fact that they like stay behind their castles while their people who they supposedly care for starve. They kill, whatever. They do whatever they want to us. Is that royalty? I don't know. No. My opinion, no. It's not. And people are waking up to the fact that like we've all been deceived on so many levels of just like, what are we doing as a world, not even as a country? Because it's like this goes global, you guys. This is like worldwide. There's been monarchies in every country, and these people like, they want to claim a level of superiority, and it's like, okay, but then what are you doing for everybody else who you need to agree to your idea that you're better than us? You're doing absolutely nothing. Okay, you just take and take and take and take and take the energy. You take and take and take. And then it's like, so then what are we doing then? I don't want to give my energy to that. So I rebuke it. And especially the minute that this whole thing went down with, a certain set of files, okay, and that relative, Andrew, whatever his last name, Windsor, Battenberg, whatever the hell his last name is, I don't even know. I don't really care. The minute that happened, electric chair, respectfully, electric chair. Why are you allowed to still be alive doing the things that you did? Sorry, you're abusing children. No, that's a hard no. No, no, no. I don't care who it is. No. And people need to just say it. No, no, I reject, I rebuke. No. No, that's why I don't try to be like, first of all, I don't idolize anyone. And I don't think anybody should be idolizing any human. But when you see things like that, and then there aren't repercussions for atrocities that are committed, crimes like this, it just kind of puts you into this perspective that, yes, this is the upside down. Because in God's world, this wouldn't exist. So is this an open air prison? I don't know. So whatever I can do in myself, I'm going to try to bring awareness to certain things, because it's time for people to wake up. Time's running out. And it's not because it's like, oh, the world's going to end, but it might, if God decides it, but it doesn't mean that you have to, carry all of these things. That's why they keep you trapped in these like cycles of trauma, abuse, all this negativity, trying to normalize this negativity to make it seem like it's right. It's not. This is not what love is. If it is absent of love, it is not of God, period. And if people are not holding these people accountable for the atrocities that they commit, then guess what? They're also responsible for it too, period. And I'm just at this point where it's like, we're moving in a direction where it's like, we're going to wars. We're doing all of this stuff. Why are we responsible for fighting stuff that we don't really even have a say in, but we're obligated to do it, to be a good citizen, to be a good patron, to be whatever? Like, that doesn't make any sense to me. No, I reject. No, I'm not doing it. And you have all these people who do it because we're all fed this lie of like, oh, well, you want to make sure we're protecting because this is the enemy. No, it feels like all of the enemies got together to become one big enemy towards us. And they just watch us. Like, I was actually telling Miss 808 that the other time when she came here, like we were like, when we had this, C19, even that, like even on YouTube, you can't even say certain words that actually are the real words. We're distorting everything, because then you're worried about, like, if you want to start a business, you can't say certain words because you can get demonetized, even though that's the actual word. That's why we have people identifying as cats, because now even a cat can be a human. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what is happening? This is upside down world. It has to be. It has to be the upside down. This is Stranger Things. It's giving, what is the name of that creature that with the friggin' like the, the leaves and flowers, whatever. It was not really a flower, but you know what I mean. if you watch it. I forget the Demogorgon, whatever it's called. Anyway, it's giving that. But I do believe in being able to bat an eyelash. No, that's not his real name. Stop it, Miss 808. Windsor. I mean, not gonna lie, like some of that stuff is beautiful. Like, am I gonna look at the royal like crown and be like, oh, it's so trash? No, I like pretty things. I like glittery things. It's beautiful. But that beauty shouldn't be something that was made by the earth, shouldn't be exploited by only a certain group of people to have access to it. You know, like, why? Because of money and all this other stuff. And it's like, I don't know. But yeah, the C19 stuff, like I was telling her, like people, you know, the people at the upper, not even going to call it upper, the parasites of society, respectfully, are all like, you know, laughing like, oh, do you see them fighting for toilet paper? Oh, now they're wearing masks and they can't see their loved ones in the hospital. Oh, like legit, like there's Looney Tunes that think like this, okay? No, I don't want to live in that world. No. Wait. I need to read this. Magic says, oh my God, sigh. Wait, everyone stop typing real quick. No, I'm kidding. I was in a store, made the comment, you know how men are. The person said, no, I'm not a man. I don't know. They had a beard. Made up name no one can pronounce and they that listen. Look, shout out to people who know who they are. And I'm going to leave that like that because it's not to, you know, I can't fault people for being confused nowadays about certain things or being in a position of not knowing where they stand because our world is so like, there's just so much information and like people fall into the pressure of like having to agree with this, even though it doesn't feel right, having to do certain things, like having to question their identity more than we ever have before. And it just makes me think like, why are we there? Why are we questioning what we were born with? Is it what is the purpose of it? Like, if we were born a certain way, right? Whatever gender it is, why are now people being made to question that? Like, I don't get that. I'm still having a hard time with understanding why we're questioning that. And I think that what people don't want to really address is that a lot of this has to do with the fact that a lot of people have grown up in very abusive homes, and abusive in many ways when I say that. And when you energetically, like how I've learned to understand it just from my own research, is when you do something to a child that's that atrocious, right? The adult in question already has the leverage. And trigger warning, you know, I'm trying to be as, you know, trying to keep it as PG as possible, but trigger warning to anyone who has been through anything like this. My love and condolences to people who have suffered through that. My sympathy and empathy as well, like, because there's people who have not made it, who have gone through stuff like this, you know, and it's important to give that respect to people because children who have these things happen to them grow up believing that it's their fault and they carry the shame of the adult. So energetically, what it feels like, it's almost like a transfer. It's like they put the adult in question who does this atrocious thing to the child is almost transferring the energy to the child to carry while robbing them of their light. So when you see it like that and you understand it like that, it also puts, you know, into perspective when you become an adult, who you choose to lay with, who you choose to share your intimate space with, because everything is about energy. So when you think about it like that, where everyone is questioning their gender or whatever the case may be, to me, it's like, well, what happened at home? What's going on? And why are people profiting off of that trauma? The solution is destroy yourself some more now physically. So not only internally are you suffering with what could have happened or what did happen, because for some of us, we don't remember, right? And you're like, I don't know what happened, but my body doesn't forget. So when you see it like that, it's like, if you can't get to what happened and try to heal that, then that's when you have people wanting to destroy themselves physically as a punishment almost. And that's, if anything, the most tragic part, because who profits are these people who exploit that. Think about like the weight loss thing. Why do you think people struggle with their weight? I really want to know that. Why do people struggle with weight? It's an emotional thing. You're trying to compensate for your struggles, and that's the one thing that you can control. So you try to uglify yourself. I just made up a new word, but you try to eat to kind of soothe what you're going through and make yourself almost undesirable because of what had happened to you, but then not knowing that it wasn't your fault. And that's the thing that why I kind of maybe have a different mindset than most people, and I don't fall for what's being fed to us all the time, because it's like, what people don't see is that a lot of people are being exploited, because the solution is not a one fix. It's like giving yourself, a bigger cup size is not going to fix the insecurity, because then you're going to find more things wrong with yourself. So when you see all of these people, the Kardashians being one of the biggest people who have contributed to what beauty standards should be, unattainable at that, you just start to think, what is it all for? Is it just to mask the issues? Because it's only going to amplify with time. So is it better to just address the problem and try to make sense of it as best as you can and go from there? Or is the answer to do this stuff? I don't know. I can just tell you, as somebody who, as a female growing up in probably one of the most toxic diet cultures, the culture, we don't know, we don't talk about it. We still have the predators around, we don't acknowledge them. So it's like this big make-believe world. I still never felt the pressure, thankfully, to want to distort my body or distort my face or fall into the pressure of taking 10,000 diet pills, or inject certain things. I'm vain in certain aspects, but I'm not that vain. So I thank God for that, because it could have been a disaster. I knew people who got BBLs, and now the trend is not to have a big juicy peach. And what are they doing now? I don't know. It's just, there's a lot to be said about so many different things. And, I know this is a bit of a stream of consciousness. It's a little bit all over the place. I do think that it has to do with these colors. For whatever reason, I'm feeling very it's bringing out this type energy. But, I'm going to roll with it, because I do think that it is important to also understand that those things are also a part of, it's natural to have them. I was actually having this discussion with my husband the other day, where I was just telling him, I'm anger isn't necessarily, anger is not bad. Anger misplaced towards others who don't deserve it is. But if you ingest that anger, it starts to manifest into disease in your body. So to me, I'm if there's a means to express it, do that. Just don't take it out on other people who don't deserve it. If you're angry with your life, take it up with yourself first. You have control over that. You can say to yourself, all right, well, I'm angry about this, but don't take it out on innocent people who don't have anything to do with it. That I don't agree with, and I never will. That's corny to me. These people out here, literally so miserable with their own lives, doing all this like messed up stuff, taking out like their childhood traumas on other people. It's like, yo, grow up. Grow up. Maybe that's the tough love that we need. We've created too much of a safe space that we forgot to tell people like, yo, you have more power now. You're an adult now. You get to choose. Now choose better. What's holding you back? Choose better. No one's coming to save you. That's a real thing. And maybe that's what, like, you know, that's the tough love that's needed, is a little bit more of that, where like we've coddled people too much and people have forgotten that there is something great to be resilient and to be strong, but not be strong for the sake of taking BS. It's just more not allowing this stuff to destroy the very little time that you have left on this earth and you got things to do. Okay? That's where I'm at. Like, I'm tired. I'm not going to be like, you know, woe is me for everything. No. At some point, I have to also own the fact that I put myself in certain situations that I knew better. I did not choose better. So this is the direct consequence of that. I got to eat it. Okay, great. Moving on. Same with all of us. And, you know, I know people like sometimes like, I could speak for myself. Like, you know, sometimes I would get advice and very good sound advice. I just wasn't ready to hear it. And I was like, no, I want to be in my woe is me. I want to be in that. And then I was like, I'm tired of hearing myself complain about the same crap over and over again. So then I just got over it. And I was like, all right, great. Now I get to move on. Pass, go, collect 200. You know what I mean? All right. So, all right, hold on. Let me just look. Yes, I do too. I get so much done. The rage cleaning, it sparkles in here. It's like where this home should be in a catalog at that point. Okay, so I hear that. And yes, Terry, it has been a red week. I think it has something to do with the astrology, if I'm not mistaken. Like, I think something is squaring another square, a triangle. I don't know. It's like something in the astrology this year was supposed to be kind of like the unveiling, the very like rip the Band-Aid off and everyone stop buying into the delusion. Like, that's what it's giving. Yes, and there's a full moon tomorrow in Sagittarius for the Saggies out there, and retrograde is coming. So get ready for communication to be like, like, yes, we're harnessing it. And that's the thing, like, you know, you can blame it on the juice, got feeling loose, or, you know, blame it on the moon, it is really full. Doesn't matter what you blame it on. At the end of the day, it's how you choose to exercise that energy. You can, you know, choose to be in your peaceful mode and work through those difficulties, or you go into your rage mode and you allow that energy to manifest into something. So let me see what else is going on in the chat while I take a tiny little break, but I want to show you the progress. I've just kind of really been working the green. That looks so cool. Like, not gonna lie, kind of great. I love these like texture-y patterns. Look at me holding things like so difficult. There we go. That's a lot easier than crisscross applesauce. But I feel like this one's definitely going to be the darkest of the three. But I love that. I kind of love that it's very like spooky-esque, right? It's giving a spooky. It's giving Halloween 2026 maybe inspo, you know? The spooky forest. Oh, they can all kind of have their own theme. I love that. Yes! Thank you, everyone. So thank you so much, everyone. Who's lurking in here? Show yourselves. Put a cartwheel in the chat if you are here and present. Present. Cartwheel in the chat. Allegedly 16 people watching. Who's watching? If you're here with bad intentions, we rebuke. Okay, in the name of Jesus, amen. I love this, like, very moody. It would be kind of cool to do the branches like kind of light. We'll see. You know, when my brain starts doing its brain things, and then when Life Artist comes in clutch, you know, we already know. And the chat, when the chat comes in clutch too, okay? So let's see if we can, I almost don't want to lighten it up, but I do want to create a little bit of a lightness in the center. So that way, when we paint our eye, it doesn't feel so, you know, so dark. Thank you, Miss Erin. I know Miss Erin is driving and still listening to me yap for how long? An hour and 15 minutes, Lord. God bless. Can't say my husband does the same, but it's okay. It's okay. He's a great man. He's a good man. All right, so let me just put a little bit of a lighter color here. Am I immediately regretting my life choices at the moment? No, but I know what I got to do. All right, so let's just keep going here. Lighten this up. Just a smidge, because you know what? We want to have a little bit of a lighter base to work with. And even if you do pick up like some of the color comes through from beneath, it's okay. So that's like the underpainting that Life had mentioned one of the streams. So I'm okay with that too. I think it's just more so that it just doesn't become too, because acrylics aren't like oils. It's harder to build, I feel like, with acrylic than it is with oil. And that's why like you have to be a little bit more strategic, and it dries faster, obviously. So you just have to be a little bit more strategic with acrylic. Than you don't have as much flexibility with acrylics. Ooh, walking the dogs. I love dogs. Oh my God. There's this little, what is it? Is it not a French bulldog? Although I love Frenchies. What is she, Terry? Miss 808? What is she? I forget. Pancake is her name. She's an English bulldog? I think she's an English bulldog. Oh my God. These dogs are literally my spirit animals. They are so funny. They just have like the most serious face. They're mean mugging all the time. They're like, you know, an English bulldog. Yeah, they're so cute. Oh my God. Pancake is great. She is a diva extraordinaire. She is always barking when she doesn't have like, well, first when like the owners are great. They have like great like titles to all of their shorts with her. She's just like the cutest dog. Such a sweetheart, and like just so funny that like animals are the best. They really are. Like they're literally the purest, aside from children, they are the purest form of love on this earth. And to be around them is just like, what an honor it is. So as much as my cat sometimes can be, you know, a little bit of a jerk sometimes, it's all right. He's my favorite kind of jerk because he cuddles with me at night and he's like the sweetest boy. So I'm okay with that. Yes, she was on Good Morning America. She was just like, I don't want to be here. Why are you humans making me do this? I don't want to be here. But yeah, so I'm going to show you really quickly what I did with the lightening aspect. It's just like adding just a little bit of white to just lighten the center where our eye is going to be. But yeah, Pancake is adorable. Oh, thank you. Yes, GB, he's very sweet. He was all up on Miss 808. Like, that's how I know, you know, like when they always like do their back like this, they're always like, and then like walk, and they're like, he's like marking her and like rubbing himself on her. It was so funny. I was like, what if people did that? What if like we just started to just be like, no, that'd be so weird. I'm kind of here for it though. Yes, I love this. I'm sorry if you could hear the clickety clack of my canvas. Let me hold it down a little bit so it doesn't have to be so annoying. Unless, of course, it doesn't bother anybody, but, you know, just trying to be mindful. Oh, I love this. So after we finish our eye series, I have a couple of ideas of what I want to do next, but I'm going to miss it because like I feel like it just was such a fun project to do, a nice little trilogy, but I don't know. I got to think about what I want to do for the next one because I do love Obviously, you need color to paint or not. We could do like a whole monochromatic series, which could be really cool. But I'm kind of into flowers. I'm into like exploring, just adding things that don't really go together. So I think bones are great. So like working with like creating life and death. I like that seems to be like themes that I'm really into, is what it means to live and what it truly means to die. That wasn't morbid at all, but no, for real, like what does all of that look like? And I don't think that people really understand that concept too much, because we have such stark understandings of like life is this and death is this, but they're the same. They're mirrors to each other. They need each other, right? Like up, down, side to side. Like life and death to me are like mirrors to each other. You can't truly live without death, and death only happens without life. So they have to coexist in that balance. It's truly like a yin and yang. And the reason I say that is because what we don't realize, especially when you go through like a spiritual awakening, it is a death to yourself, to your old version of yourself. That's kind of what people don't really put a lot of emphasis on, is that death isn't necessarily the end of life. It's a transition. And death only comes, in my opinion, when you step away completely from your light source or what makes you divine. So you step away from God, honey, you RIP. RIP to your soul, because that's a choice. And God isn't going to force you to do what he wants, because that's then against what he professes, which is free will. But if you're going to be, into something else, then I mean, yeah. Hold on. What's going on with Miss Erin? What happened, Miss Erin? Oh no. No, Miss Erin. No, I'm so sorry. Oh, God bless. R.I.P. to your little guinea pig. No, that makes me so sad. Oh, Erin, I'm sending you so much love, so much love. Thinking of you. I know it's hard because like people don't realize like our pets become like our family. It doesn't matter if they're like tiny little ones, whatever. It doesn't matter. Little guinea pig. I'm so sorry. Oh, you have a pug? We had a pug too. Peanut was mine. Luna. That's cute. That's a cute little name. Oh, Miss Erin, I'm sending you so much love. And thank you for being here. Like, look at you, you're here and like, you're going through that. Like, let's change the subject. Let's make it a little bit more cheerful for Miss Erin, okay? Because, we don't need to talk about all that stuff right now, okay? I'm going to make it more cheerful. Let's make it a little bit more fun. So what should we talk about while I finish this part? So let me show you really quickly where I'm at. It's giving moody watermelon. So see how I just lightened the center just a bit? That's all I wanted to do. So like similar to the others, it just kind of creates a little bit of a vignette to focus that all of the attention to the center. So with that said, I think that we can, oh, Sparkles. Miss Sparkles, I know your little spirit is here and you are happy where you are, but please give our beautiful Miss Erin so much comfort and love, as she is going to miss you, as is everyone who loved you and had the pleasure of knowing you. So please cover her with your love, light, and protection so that she can feel better every single day. Thank you, Miss Sparkles. We love you. I don't even know you and I love you. Okay? Stop. It's hard. Like, I don't think that people really understand, like people who don't have a lot of pets or haven't had pets their whole life, like really don't get like how tragic it is to lose one. It's just like it's not fun. Okay. Like just straight up, it's not fun. So I hear you and I feel you, because it is difficult. But she'll always be there with you in spirit, and take the time you need to really like, grieve and do what you got to do, girl, because I know it too well. I still cry for my Peanut, and it's been a few years already. I still cry for him. He was such a sweetheart. And it's more so because like animals represent such a pure form of love They don't judge you. They see you on your ugliest days. They're there for your happiest moments. They just intuitively know. And I think like that's the part that we miss when they leave, is that pure, genuine love that they provided. So that's why, like, as much as, my gato is a pain in the coo, he's still, he's my boy. I love him. And, love is complicated. It's a love hate sometimes, but it's not a hate over here. It's definitely all pure love. But sometimes he does questionable things that I'm like, listen, gato, you want to be on the balcony? No, I'm just kidding. I would never. Oh my God, never. Never. We rebuke, never. It's this painting. It's this color. No more red. Sorry. This is the root chakra. But see, it's a battle of the root chakra and the green chakra, which is like the heart chakra. So it's like, I'm battling my emotions right now in real time. All right. So yes, let's do some valuable work. You know what, life artists, I will say this. They purposely don't want them to live longer because they don't want us to be happy, period. The they, the infamous they that nobody knows who they is, but we always say they. That's my opinion. Because we would take our pet to all his visits, all this stuff, and he just kept getting sicker and sicker and sicker. I'm like, how is he getting so sick? It makes no sense to me. So then at that point, I'm like, y'all poisoning us? You poisoning them? They? Yes, they. P.S. If you heard that slap, is because I have shorts on and this on. Just like the weather, I'm confused. Okay. All right. So let's move into now creating our eye. We are doing so good on time. Who is she? I don't know. My Latino genes took a back seat today because they're like, girl, we're going to have you being on time today. We're definitely not going to finish, but at least we're going to get to a good spot. And I probably will stop in like, look at me, I'll stop. I'm going to stop in like 30 minutes so that we can have the last 15 to 30 to just chit chat. Yes. And it's like the corporate everything. Even with like going to the doctor now, it feels like we're at a point where everything is like, I feel like these doctors are just learning from a pamphlet and they just all repeat the same information. So, like when you call customer service and you're like, press 1 for, this, press 2, press 3. It's the same thing when you go to the doctor. They all have a rehearsed script. So they're not getting to the root of the problem. They just know how to do the Band-Aid part. That's it. That's all it is. So it's like, is that what they're paying hundreds of thousands of dollars for medical school for? Is to just like put a Band-Aid on things? I don't know how I feel about that. With love, light, and respect. I don't know how I feel about that. I'm trusting you with my life. And you're telling me what? All of y'all saying the same thing? All right, I wanted to get this one because I like the size of this eye the best, to be honest. And I want to like really make this one very juicy. So I'm just trying to measure an eyeball. No pun intended. How big and juicy I want this one to be. So I'm just going to freehand it because I freehand all of my stuff. Hi, that isn't hard at all. It is. It is. For the artists in the chat, you know that like to just go into this without a plan is hard to do. And it's not to toot my own horn, but I like the freedom of it because of my life being so structured. I love the ability to be able to just not have any type of structure when it goes into it. So I do enjoy that. Let me see. Are you giving very juicy? I think we're giving kind of juicy. Let's see. Oh, there is something about creating this tiny little UFO eyeball that is just so satisfying. I love it so much. And even if she's a little bit juicier, that's okay. Because we'll just, add some flores around. What's happening? Yes. Oh my God. And then when you find like the good doctors and then they're like all retiring soon because like they're the last of the breed that like didn't prescribe you crap. It's like, you know what? Maybe just sleep a little longer. Maybe, drink some herbal teas. I don't know. Some tinctures. Is that how you say it? Tinctures? Tinctures. Can't say the word. Lord help me, I cannot say that word. All right. Oh, yes. And you know what? Because I want you to see this in real time. Hold on. So because I didn't add too much color to the center, it's kind of like underpainting to some degree. Like you have the paint underneath and then it kind of peeks through as you're painting over it. Love that. Love it. Love it so much. Love you very much. Yeah, like those people, the doctors before were like the best because they definitely had a different perspective on how to treat patients versus just giving them stuff while it's like they treat one problem, but then something else happens. And you're like, I mean, is it ever going to stop? It's just the same problem. Now another one has been like created. It's like, geez, Louise, can I get a break? Can I get a hallelujah? Yes. Yes, honey, yes. Okay, we're getting our little spicy UFO here. Okay. Very spicy. I love this so much. Anyway. Yes, even in private practice. I don't know. I just think that like everything has to get destroyed first before we can rebuild. And I think that's the point that we're at now. It just feels like it's just a little overwhelming for those of us who are not awake. So if you have people who are very resistant to change, they're the ones being impacted the most with all of this because the change is going to happen inevitably. Like it just is what it is. There is no going back to how things were. People who are awake are already rejecting whatever we're being fed. Like that's just what it is. We are just not in a position anymore to be deceived. And those of us who are awake during this moment, I mean, of the Great Awakening, we're seeing things at face value and we're just like, no more. And I'm here for that. Because then that robs the power of all of those who have profited off of our ignorance and off of our fears. No more of that. That's why I'm like, I'm less afraid to be more outspoken now. Something that I really struggled with in my youth was knowing when to speak and when not to. And I didn't have that right then. And sometimes I don't have it right now, you know, but you try your best, but you just know like if something doesn't feel right, it's because it's not right. Believe that. So I tell people all the time, like, you know, you can't save anybody right now. Like we're past that point. It's more, everyone's just allow people to just be. And I think that's the key to all of this is when you allow people to just come to their own conclusions and you don't force it on someone, then that is you actually living in your true God purpose. And that's literally the divine working through you. I know a lot of us struggle with that because it's like, for example, especially when it comes to like our children, like, you know, you want to tell them what to do and you want the best for them. But then a lot of it too is like, are you forcing that conclusion onto them without them coming to that realization on their own? And it's hard, but you have to allow it. And that's something that I'm preparing myself for. I have a very fiery child. Even though she doesn't express it in the normal way that other fiery children do, I have to be okay with the fact that she's going to make her own decisions. And it's not for me to force her to see things the way that I see them. It's more to give her the tools of guidance so that she can come to those conclusions on her own without it feeling like I'm pressuring you to do something. I'm telling you what to do. That's when kids rebel more, you know, like I feel like when you let them kind of come to their own senses, even if it takes a little bit, it's like kind of giving them the tools and then guiding them versus like ruling with an iron fist. Like, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that to my daughter. I will not do it. Oh my God, Miss Boston Brandy's in the house. Oh, listen, Miss Boston Brandy is the clock extraordinaire. Let me just tell you that she will give you a read. Okay. Like she was just like, but actualmente, You're going to say this, but it's really like that. Like, what are you talking about? Like, she will clock it left, right, up, down, all around in your face. And that's just what it is. She don't play around, Miss Boston Brandy. Stop playing with Miss Boston Brandy, everybody. Y'all do not realize she been seeing you. And she's not going to fall for it. That's Miss Boston Brandy. She don't play. Okay? She does not play. She is a Boston baddie for a reason. Yes. Yes, she is. Yes, she is. Stop it. I can't. You stop it. No, but like for real, like I'm like the clocking is just giving clocked. Okay. Like you just clock everybody exactly where they need to be. And then their only comeback is something so dumb. It's like, thank you for proving my point yet again. Score, Kobe, you know, like it just doesn't make any sense because the thing is like when you apply logic and remove the emotion out of the whole conversation. So like if let's say people thrive on your emotional reaction and you really break it down in the simplest terms and call it for what it is, then you realize how dumb everything is. Like you're just like, this is so dumb. Like all you want is attention. Sounds like a problem you take up with your therapist. Okay. Instead of coming for me or Miss Boston Brandy, figure out what is it about me that makes you so mad? Is it because I'm saying a truth that you want to deny? Or because I see right through you and that makes you mad? Because if I see through you and I have credibility, then that probably opens other eyes that you've tried to keep closed. Is it that? So when the math is not mathing, you need the math not to math to continue to be the deviant that you are. I see you. And then when you clock that, that's when it's like, ow, she's so this. Y'all not coming from Miss Boston Brandy like that. You lucky that I'm not on X. You are so lucky I'm not on X. I don't want to be a Twitter warrior. I can't because I know myself and I just cannot. I'm not taking on an army of like, you know, Tweedledees and Tweedledums. And we're not doing that. Nope. I rebuke. And I give you lots of credit, Miss Boston Brandy, for doing it because it takes a lot of strength and willpower to deal with this type of stuff. Yes. People do not understand that it's like talking to a wall sometimes. It's like, and you know what? Be in that wall then. Like they say in Spanish, quédate ahí. Stay there. Stay in the wall. You want to be in the void of your own delulu? Who am I to tell you that you can't? But what you're not going to do, what you're going to do is put some respect on my name. That's what we're going to do for Miss Boston Brandy. So we're putting respect on Miss Boston Brandy's name. Everybody, please put some respect on Miss Boston Brandy's name. Let's give her a cartwheel in the chat for Miss Boston Brandy because she is absolutely clocking it today. Okay. And every other day. Yes. She is not playing around with y'all. Oh, so let me show you my progress. Oh my God. Since, you know, you were just here, I just drew my little UFO eyeball. So this is where we're at. It's giving very moody. It's giving moody, you know, she's very moody, but that is a juicy eyeball. It's very juicy. I wanted it to be like this one. I wanted it to be very juicy, you know, because, you know, she's very juicy too, but she's a very subtle juice. She's like the key lime and this is the lime. And I want this baby to be the lemon. Yes. Different sizes, different eyes for different prices. All right. Oh my God. I almost drank this thing. Absolutely not. Hello, Miss Nurse of Interest. Welcome. Hello. Yes, it's a whole mood. Thank you. It's a whole mood. It's giving mood. Because I was feeling it today. I told Miss 808, I was like, today I feel like, I don't know what's in the air. It might be the planetary alignments, honey. But today I was feeling very, very, very much in my, I just want to say things. Okay. But I got to, you know, show a little bit of restraint. Because, you know, we're trying to do better. I'm trying to do better and teach better because, you know, that's my ego talking. So I'm trying, everyone. Can't say I get it right all the time, but yes, Miss Terry, we're doing green eyes today. And look, can we give the people that have green eyes, like, can we stop calling it green eye of envy and all that stuff? Like these poor people, they're like born this way. And they're like, you know, I'm already getting tea and getting clocked for the color of my eye that, like, you know, was my genetics. And it's associated with envy and stuff. No. No. Ay, mamma mia. All right. So today, flat 10 is really coming in. I know by now I would have transitioned to a different brush, but flat 10 is giving me life right now. So you know what? We're going to keep using her. She's giving a lot of surface area. We like that. And she's just making all of these like lines to be so perfecto. I love that. Ooh, yes, yes. And she's picking up some of that white, so it's getting a little bit lighter, already creating all of that like gradient transition. Stop it. I knew I loved you for a reason. I love the rest of you too. Relax, okay? You will have your purpose very soon. But today, Miss Flat 10, she a 10, she a baddie. She's really giving. Ooh, yes. Yes, she is. Ooh, ooh. Nice. Yes, Mamma Mia. I love that term, Mamma Mia. It's so good. Aside from it being Mario, you know, I am a Mario girl, but it's just such a good term. Mamma Mia. It's so good. All right, here we go. Yes, Flat. Go ahead, girl. Work. You better work, 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 work. You're doing all this work, 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 work. Good thing I'm not monetized. Otherwise, they would have been like, Rihanna wants to claim her royalties. Girl, you already got billions of dollars. And I already support your brand. Leave me alone. Okay. You see me do my work, 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 work. That song was pretty fire when it came out. Not gonna lie. It was everywhere. Oh my God. I feel like they hypnotize us with like the songs that they play. It's like everybody was like singing that song everywhere. Little kids even. I was like, what do you know about that? You better stop. What you mean you're gonna work, work, work? Ooh, this circle is circling. It's giving pretty accurate circle. Now, is it, you know, geometrically accurate? Possibly not, but who cares? This is the art of freehanding. Okay. You know what? I do want some kickback also, because let me tell you something. If we are over here supporting artists and we buy their album, why can't we play their music? If I already gave you the money for it, why can't I play it? Now I got to pay you and pay you and pay you and pay you and pay you forever. And I get that. I understand that too. I understand it. But then there should be some point where it's like, it's agreed upon that like once in a while, it's okay to play a clip without being demonetized or having those royalties go to somebody else, you know? I don't know. I don't know the rules of all this stuff. I just think that it's like, you know, there's like being an artist, like the people who, there's so many artists in the world that are undiscovered, right? They can have their stuff stolen. And then the people who are like, you know, the pop royalties or whatever, whoever has been put on that pedestal, get everything. It's like such an imbalance of how that power and monetary value gets distributed that you're like, we went from like, you can have absolutely nothing, you're in debt, or you're super, super rich. But at what cost, right? Because that is something that I will say, like, the only reason why, like, and I think I might have shared the story that I was going to be on Food Network at one point, and I got all the way till the end for a show, and I turned it down because the exclusivity terms were absurd. Like, I'm talking, you can't do anything, or you have to continue to do stuff with the show for like a year exclusive to us. And I was just like, I don't know how I feel about that, because there was another part where if, let's say, I wanted to not do baking stuff anymore and I wanted to like paint, that production company would still get a percentage of whatever I made on whatever show for whatever I was talking about. So painting, dog food, Tupperware. Who's going to want to work with me like that? So I feel like these contracts were made to purposely trap people because they know people want to be famous. And at that point, you're in a position where it's like, well, I want to have the exposure, and then you have to pay them in the end to get out of that really bad contract. So who wins? The lawyers. So at that point in time, like I was really excited. I had tried like to be, and I was recruited to audition for a lot of shows. And I was just like, no, I'm not sacrificing my likeliness and my integrity or the work that I do so that someone else can have full control over how I'm being portrayed on the internet or anywhere. Like they would have full authority to edit things how they choose. You're not going to do that. No. And Flat 10 has taken a break, so we want to thank you. Thank you, Flat 10. We have introduced round number 3 right now to do the finer details in the center of the eye like we did last time. And she's very cute, you know, like she's definitely struggling a little bit here, but that's probably my fault. You know, I don't want to blame the tools, but she's cute. You know what I'm saying? I think I'm using the sap green. I forgot what it was called. I don't feel like moving that thing, pero yeah, money, yo, for real. And you know, like that's the other thing. Like if you're using certain people as content, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, should be like Boston Brandy should have a check in the mail from all these content creators using her name. Where, yeah, better have her money. Like, yes, Miss Boston Brandy, pay her coins. You want to talk basura? Then you know what? You better pay her coins. Yep. I said it. I sure did. Pay Miss Boston Brandy her coinage. Y'all not going to be doing that. No. And I mean, nobody really wants money from these people anyway. But still, royalties for Brandy. Yes. Hashtag royalties for Boston Brandy. Immediately. Pay her. Period. Please don't call me on my bluff. Period. Listen, that song was so funny to me. Her dance, everything. She was wearing like, I remember in one performance, she had like a green furry coat. Like that's one thing. I give Rihanna that. Like her stylist she's very effortless in the way that she dresses. You know what I'm saying? Like very effortless. Miss Boston Brady was like, not all money is good money. That's what she's saying. You know what? I agree with you. We retract that statement. We would like to make a correction to the record, Your Honor. Miss Boston Brandy does not want the coinage from these people. Okay. She said, no, thank you. I don't want your coins. I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it. I woke up like this. I did not wake up like this. This is concealer. Thank you very much. This is Laura Mercier. This is Estee Lauder. The very creamy, divine, cover all your life errors concealer. Okay. It's giving that 100%. Oh my God, Ashanti, yo. Like, see, like that's one thing. I understand when people are like, look, I'm not going to rip on a person who feels good in their body or whatever the case may be. But, you know, feeling good in your body doesn't also mean that you have to look like you're struggling, girl. Like, like, girl, like you're so gorgina. You don't need to do all this extra. Like, it's all right. And I feel like that's a celebrity thing that like, there's no modesty anymore. It's like everything is like, you know, show this, show that, show everything. Like, not everybody wants to see that. You know what I'm saying? And it's not to shame her in that. It's really not that, but it's more like there is like a certain level of being appropriate. And that's not just for our age, it's for all ages. Like, I don't agree with little kids being like little girls wearing bikinis, like tiny babies, you know, putting babies in bikinis and all that stuff. Well, all these like creepos out here. No, I'm not saying cover her up all the way, but you know, there's a level to embrace modesty where, you know, leave something for the imagination when it's your tiempo, when it's your time. You don't gotta be giving the goods up for free like that. Like, I don't understand that. I've never been that type of girl. Like, I like to look put together. And it doesn't mean that you can't wear certain things, but it's just more like, think about that. Think about it. It's just like, reserve a little for the imaginación, for your man, for your girl, whatever the case may be. Leave it for the beach. That's appropriate. But, celebrities are on a different thing. So it's comfort first. Yes, this is comfortable. It's very comfortable. It's very warm. Could I be here like, oh my God, stop? Yes, I could. Doesn't mean I want to, because it's not for you. And the internet. I don't know who's watching. I am a woman who is married. Okay. That's what a hubby in. Okay. What a hubby in. He gets the goodies, my goodies, my goodies, goodies, goodies. Hey. Yes, it's like exactly that. It's sexualizing kids. And then it's like if the adults are doing it, then the kids are seeing it. And they're like, oh, yeah, this is fine because I see adults doing it. And it's like, no, it's not. There has to be better boundaries when it comes to that stuff. You know what I mean? Like, I don't like that. I don't like it at all. It just makes me really uncomfortable. I don't appreciate feeling like, it's wrong for me to be like, as a parent and as a mother to a daughter, that like, oh, am I a prude because I don't want my kid to be half naked? Like, maybe you're a perv if you think that that's okay. All right. Like, I have a right to say no. And I have a right to teach my daughter that, like, boundaries too. Those are important. What do you mean? Okay. You got to be also aware of your body. And like, I mean, look, could we go back to the times where like, I mean, I give the 1950s that, aside from the obvious, okay? I don't want people to be like, oh, it's so terrible for women. I know there were certain aspects that were not good, but we could speak to it for certain people. But there were other women who really enjoyed it. They love being at home with their kids. They love, doing that. And everybody made an effort to just be put together. I love that. I love that. People just looking good in their clothes, and like the men, like, are you kidding me? A man in a 3-piece suit with his hair all like a Don Draper. I mean, forget the Don Draper character, but like objectively, you look at the man and he looks good because he's put together. He looks clean. He looks fresh. Like, I love that. I love that. Oh, Miss Boston Brandy. Let me tell you, protect kids at all costs. We were just saying that earlier, how like I don't believe in like this royal stuff. We were talking about the royals and how the queen had left Charles an envelope before she died to basically secure the monarchy to his son, because she already knew that Camilla was, in Spanish we say very interesada, she was very interested for the wrong reasons. But what I don't agree with this monarchy BS that we're over here, like, being like, oh, the royals. I'm sorry, but a direct relative was doing some atrocious stuff and he's still not behind bars. And y'all want me to respect you as royals? If anything, if you're already asked to be held to a different standard, y'all should be the first to set the example. But no. We excuse it because he's a member of the royal family. And that's where y'all got me messed up. That's where you got me messed up. So it's okay for him to be doing that type of stuff, right? We're going to do that. We're just going to pretend like that didn't happen and just let him go away and into his perverted world, wherever the hell he is. No. Then I don't accept you as royals, respectfully. No, I don't respect that, because if you're held to a different standard and you want people to respect you because you have all of this divine calling over your life, then you should be the first to set the example, to be like, this was morally corrupt. It was wrong. He is disowned from this family and he's going to jail. Am I wrong to say that? Oh yeah, there's tunnels everywhere, girl. Everywhere. If you want to do a conspiracy stream that's not so conspiracy, I am happy to do that. And yes, choose peace. Money does create people's attitudes. And then when people get a little taste of it, or if they've had it their whole life, they have no idea what the struggle is and they forget it. That's what's really infuriating. It's like, y'all gonna tell me what to do with the very little that I have. And P.S., it's not even that it's little, it's just more like I'm not on billionaire road, you know? And that's fine. I don't want to be, because if I have to give up the peace that I have earned in my life to associate with a crowd of people that I have no desire to be around just because some of them have given having this much money a bad reputation, I'm good. I'm good. We're not doing that. Nope. I'm good. I'm Gucci. You guys, this eye is so pretty. I can't. It's so cool. So right now what I'm doing is just going in with like the whites to kind of bring in, give it a little bit more. What's my favorite word? Dimension. A little bit more dimension. And just to lighten certain aspects. Like this to me is like a esmeralda. It's a very emerald. Love a good emerald. That is my birthstone after all. Stop. Stop. 1-800 stop. Yes. We oh my God, the royal family was totally glorified. I mean, even Princess Diana, but you know, we were also saying too, like Princess Diana was like giving everybody her eye. She was like, listen, they are not real. I believe it. I believe it now more than ever. She tells no lies. She told no lies. Rest in peace. And that's the thing that's crazy too, is like she wanted to move on with her life, but because of the embarrassment, even though her man was full on playing her the whole time, she decides, all right, fine. You want that life? You could go ahead and have her. You could take it. You could have it. That's fine. Have it. And even so, when she decides to move on with her life, look what happened to her. And y'all want me to believe that was a Dika accident? Okay. No. And that's the thing. It's like, to protect the real truth, these people will do anything to protect it, even if it means taking you out. And that's crazy to me. Like, at what point does it stop? You know, and I think it stops when people start waking up and rejecting the narrative that we've been fed. And I think it's slowly happening everywhere. People are less afraid because it's becoming more apparent that we need to speak up. We need to say something. It may not be because, you know, you're going to make change in your global community, but it's also knowing when to use your voice without it like it's a tricky spot, because I'm not saying that you can't speak up. It's knowing when to speak up and how, because your version of what reality is, remember, it's going to seem crazy to others who aren't used to seeing the truth. They're blinded. It's like trying to wake somebody up out of their sleep. How many people honestly can say that they won't be terrified coming out of their sleep and their slumber with news that is just so horrific? Like, most people don't want to believe that the world operates that way, and they like to stay asleep because it's almost too dark to accept. And you have to honor that too, that like, it might be your relative that you love dearly that doesn't want to see the truth, and you have to accept it. You can't force people into that perception or version of what you believe, you know? Yes, she did want to save the kids. Yes. And that's why, like, when she passed, it was like you saw people felt it. Like she died and like people felt horrible. They were so sad. And like, you know, I can't really blame her kids either, because her kids were born into a version of reality that was fed to them. So they're conflicted too, to some degree, right? Like they're born into what they know, and the adults around them are going to manipulate their perspective. But as they grow, it's for them to see the truth for what it is. Do we know if they know really what happened to their mom? I don't know. I don't have that answer. But it's sad, but listen, there also is a reason why Charles, is going through the things that he's going through too. You don't think that all that stuff catches up with you at some point, bro? The thing is that they need people to be ignorant so that they can continue to thrive in the things that they do. But you know what? Karma catches up with everybody. That's just a fact. Especially when you do bad things like that, like it will catch up to you. That's a straight up fact. Oh, Britney, listen, don't even get me started on Britney and Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson was already going to leave Sony, allegedly. Okay, that's the rumor, that he was going to leave Sony. He wanted to get all his music, etc. He didn't need at that point a what's it called? Music. What are these people called? Jeez, I can't even think about it. He didn't need them anymore because he was successful on his own, right? So what that means is that that's a threat. I mean, Biggie was the same with Diddy. He was going to leave, and then look what happened to Biggie. Look what happened to Tupac. It's like when somebody is actually given the skills, the divine calling, the actual calling to do right with the world. I mean, Michael Jackson's music changed a lot of people's lives. Like, he wasn't speaking about, bend over, bend over, bend over. He wasn't doing that. You know what I mean? He's like, they don't really care about us. Like, that's different. Like, it was relatable music that touched your soul. It was frequency music. And people are not ready for that conversation about frequency. Y'all not ready for that conversation. Frequency is something that people don't give enough understanding to. When you hear music and you listen to music, it carries a certain vibration. And if we are sound, energy, etc., that vibration can be manipulated. And that's what we're realizing, or what people are starting to realize, is that the music industry uses certain frequencies in songs, and that's a part of how they keep people entrapped. So like when you hear, remember, everybody used to be like, the word nana was everywhere. Oh, na 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 na. That in that song that Trey Songz sampled the Fugees. Oh na na, what's my name? When that just starts to be repetitive and everything, like every genre had like a very similar sound, it's to do something to either lower your vibration or lower your frequency, because it does something. It's like when you hear the bees are all dying, I've said this before, it's because when they vibrate, it changes the energy. It wards off certain things. That's why, like, when people used to ring bells, right, is to ward off the demons. And now there aren't any bells anywhere. That's why these motherfuckers are running rampant. Okay, that's why they're everywhere, and they're getting channeled through all of y'all. Not you guys in the chat, but some of y'all on the outskirts, with these people that are obsessed with doing all this like weird stuff. It's like it's that part. You know what I'm saying? Like, people don't realize that they're being manipulated by these frequencies, by these sounds, by what's being sprayed in the air, what's being given to us, what we're being educated with. So what is Hank Brennan's famous line? A lie unchecked becomes the truth. We're living that in real time. And that's why people need to speak the truth. You need to say the truth. And it doesn't matter. Like, obviously, it's not to the point to risk your life for it. But you know what? At this point, it has to be like that. And it's scary to think about it that way. But speaking the truth does come with you also getting dragged. Like, if you realize the people who get hit the hardest are the ones who are onto something. Because the minute someone is called to unveil what's going on, that's when the everything gets kicked up, right? You see, people get attacked even more. People, start to act crazy. So you have to question, is that what we're doing? Why are they coming so hard for somebody who is speaking the truth. If it's not true, why do you need to attack the person? That doesn't make any sense. Because if it's not true, then don't let it be true. Okay. It doesn't have to be all this extra. But people don't see it in that respect. They just like, oh, this person is a liar. I'm just very weary that now, especially, which is why, like, I'll say this. I don't believe sometimes in calling people out all the time, because especially if you know that that person is relentless and they're not going to stop, then you're just trapping yourself into that cycle, right? You can still speak the truth and say what you need to say without pointing a finger. Because ultimately, what that ends up doing is that it lets people think about it, and then they can come to their own conclusion as to what that is. Now, that doesn't mean that that's for everything. That's not for everything. There are certain things that you need to be very clear and direct about what it is. But for other stuff, it's like knowing when to speak the truth and how to say it. So if you think that, like, if people who choose to battle you, like, like I know Miss Boston Brandy is like, she got all the heavy hitters coming for her because she's speaking truth. She tells no lies. Sorry. I'm sorry that your faves are not so great, but she's not lying when she says what she says. Be mad. Oh, well, be mad. You're just mad that she's speaking something that it could potentially threaten the hold that you have over people. And that's whose problem? Maybe you shouldn't have to lie to people to get to where you need to go. Have you thought of that? So, yeah. And you know what? It does become entertaining because you know what? At this point, it's like, it's so obvious that things are not moving in the direction that people anticipated. Because that's the thing, is like when shit starts to catch up to you, it starts to hit where it hurts. What matters to you? Money? Oh, bueno. Attention? Oh, bueno. Notoriety? Oh, bueno. Looks like those are the first to go. Because what you're being called to do is to not prioritize the stuff that doesn't freaking matter. And I don't want to hear people crying on the internet that woe is me when you're out here being diabolical as hell. Because that seems to be the trend now. Everybody's woe is me. Oh, but then you don't realize all the hours and energy that you pumped into making someone else's life miserable, or trying to ruin someone's reputation, or come for someone's job, or do whatever it is that you were doing. And now you want empathy? No, I don't feel bad for you. I don't. I'm a very empathetic person until that flip is switched, and then you're like gonna cry. But I think I'm just not a good person, I guess. That's the first honest thing that you've said. Points for self-awareness. Points for self-awareness. Now, what are you going to do about it? You're going to still be up to your old antics, or are you going to actually do something different? Because you could cry all you want. That's fine. Cry. But I'm not going to have empathy for people who dig their own grave. No. And play victim all the time. No. You know who plays victim is people who like really are the most diabolical on the internet, and then, or anywhere in their life. And then they end up being like, oh, they get caught because they're like, oh shoot, like the what is it? The jig is up, the gig is up. Like, it's up and it's stuck. That's it. Your time is up. You're going to have to face the consequences. So you could dish it, but you don't like to take it. So then how is that fair? No, you want to battle people? Try it. Not everybody is going to be a fair opponent because you don't see who that person is. You just think, oh, this is easy, light work. Are you sure about that? Because you don't know who you're battling. Be careful who you think you're battling. What you mean to tell me that, oh, I'm just going to say whatever I want? No, that comes with consequences, good and bad. It doesn't matter who it is. Stop playing. That's why I don't feel bad for them. I don't feel bad. And then, you have people like double agents, like, and sometimes, what, I will say that being a content creator is really difficult too, because we don't know who you people are. Like, I know some people on here, right? But I only know you by a screen name. I don't know you as a person. We've never spoken. I don't know. I'm trusting that you come with good intentions. But how do I know you're not here like collecting notes to go deliver it to the next person and do whatever you think you're going to do? I don't know that. But I'm also not going to invest my time into being paranoid about that. I don't care. All truths will eventually be revealed. And then who's going to have egg on their face? It won't be me. Because even if, like, I actually had this conversation with Mrs. Harry yesterday, no matter what, if I've apologized to people and I've done my part, even if it costs me like an aftermath that I couldn't have predicted, I still did the right thing. And that at the end should never be discouraged by anyone. Sometimes you will do the right thing and the outcome will not be the right one, but it's for a larger purpose. So are you going to mope and weep about it? Or are you going to keep pushing forward and do what you need to do and just allow for God and the universe to expose what needs to be exposed? The thing is, you got to be a little uncomfortable, because you wouldn't have gotten to that point if you didn't have a level of participation in something to be there, right? So a lot of it is, if you do bad things, you have to pay the price for it. Now, can I determine whether that price is fair? That's not up to me to decide. Because I could think that my crime is small, but people might think that I deserve to be, guillotined, like eradicated from the internet, excommunicated. Am I going to give it that power? No. No. And that's, I think, a part of it is that when you learn to reclaim your power, all of these things, like at the end of the day, everything that's predicted in terms of like all of these people in these movements or whatever it is that they're into, all eventually turn on themselves, is because we've been here before. It is history. History teaches us that. So if you are completely oblivious and you just don't want to accept that the devil only has this many tricks in rotation, and that's it, he can't bless his people, he can't do this to this, whatever the case may be, that's just what it is. So you got to eat it sometimes. And you know what? I would accept it more if people owned it versus being like, I can't believe this is happening to me. Really? Are we really doing that? You really can't believe this is happening to you? That's that whole moral superiority, like, weaponizing advocacy, where people think that they have the moral high ground to do unto others without understanding that that energy will be reciprocated. So miss me with the, I don't know why this is happening. You do know why it's happening. And sometimes you will not be left alone, because you know what? That's a part of the price. And the price is to teach you how to, one, not participate in that crap again, but also maybe it's for a larger lesson. So if people don't like Miss Boston Brandy right now, it doesn't matter. But when the truth comes out that what she's saying is actually true, she will be vindicated. And she's not even somebody that's even looking for that. But at that point, you don't realize that your participation in it is also a part of your karma, people. So when you play both sides, you ultimately pay a price too. Because the point is to advocate and to stand up for what is true, not your truth, my truth, or what the perceived truth is. It's the truth. Doesn't matter who's wrong, even if it means you got to eat it. It's the truth, period. So if you're going to play victim about that, because you don't like the response to your participation in the things that you've done, I'm sorry, but that's a direct consequences to your actions. Same with me. I can't control the fact that people have things to say about me. I don't care, Because at the end of the day, the truth is the truth. It means I have a part, you have a part. God is the ultimate ruler of that. And that's who I allow to resign control and energy over my life. I don't care. I'm not going to be prisoner to a Randall on the internet. I don't know you. My value and self-worth does not come from your perception of me or what you think I am or who you think I am. That's irrelevant to me. And last I heard, you don't pay my bills. So why do I care what you have to say? And if you're angry, sounds like a you problem. You know, we have to start getting into that to stop like allowing these irrelevant things to be here, like to start consuming you. No. And if anybody's over here being like, I don't understand, let's understand something very clear. All of us are responsible for something in the way our life is designed, period. We could be paying consequences for things that we did years ago, and it's resurfacing now because that needs to be addressed. It needs to be rebalanced. So as a human, you are expected to make errors, and you are also in full power to be able to change those aspects of yourself. And the sentence that comes with it, the punishment, I guess, is determined about how God is going to use you in this bigger scenario. So if it means that you got to take a couple hits or you got to be trolled on the internet or people are coming for you temporarily, is to teach you and the collective a larger lesson. And all of those people who think they could hide behind a screen name or be out there only giving one side and not being honest to protect themselves at the expense of somebody else, you also pay a consequence. You watching it. You watching it. You in the chat watching it, participating. Also, you are also being tested. Just because you're not in close proximity to this stuff doesn't mean that you don't pay the consequences of that. Are you kidding me? So all of y'all enabling somebody pays a consequence in your personal life. So when things start going bad for you because you want to be associated with somebody else, guess what? It's because you are not paying attention to who's in your energy. That's a fact. You're participating in something because you like the drama. And guess what? Now when drama comes to you, even though you're not directly connected to this stuff, why do you think that's happening? I can say that from my own experience in this space. How did I expect any good light to come out of a dark space unless I became it? I didn't know that going into this. I am forever learning and forever evolving. Who I was yesterday is not who I am today. But that's not for me to prove it to any of y'all. That's for me to prove it to God. That's my boss. I don't think people really understand that my faith is unshakable. Not saying that you need to live that life, but I will tell you that clarity does come when you put your faith in something larger than you and when you humble yourself. So we can't cry, woe is me, about certain things if you're out here being diabolical as hell. It's just not how it works. I'm sorry to tell you. That's the tough love you're going to get. And I give that same speech to myself. I give that same speech to my child. I give that same speech to anybody who's struggling. Maybe part of the struggle has to do with you. We also bear responsibility in certain things, especially as adults. Kids get a free pass for me. But as adults, you're out here doing what you're doing. You're terrorizing somebody. You're like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, you don't think that that's going to manifest in your life, to your loved ones, to you with your health? Did y'all see the certain people who were accused of this stuff in court recently? They look bad. And I don't mean that with no disrespect, but they look ill. Like, and I don't mean to project that. It's just like, they physically don't look well to me. Something's wrong. And it shows, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's terrifying to me. It's terrifying. So it makes you think, it's like, is this eating them up inside? Is something that they could have said then? Is it the regret kicking in? Is it the shame they feel? Is it the anger? Is it holding on to dear life to a lie because they can't handle a truth? I don't know. I'm not in their position. It's not for me to judge them in that way, but it's like, I'm not going to deny what my eyes see. What my eyes saw was people that don't look well. And it's not in a disrespectful way. It's just like, I hope that it's nothing wrong with them. Like, because regardless of anything, nobody was there except for these people. So nobody knows what really happened. But their health and the way that they look, like, there's people who lose weight and look good. And there's people who lose weight who are stressed and it shows. Yes, it eats at you. It 100% does. And I don't even wish that on my worst enemy. Because, baby, you could tell the world that you're fine, but it ain't showing. The hair is thinning. The skin is sagging even more than it should. The wrinkles are coming in strong. And it's not because of it's like no amount of retinol or facelift or whatever is going to help you through that. At some point, it starts to eat at your vessel. You got to think about what that is. That's a direct, your body is trying to help you. Please see the light. And if you do wrong things in your life, you have to own them, even if it's hard to. It's just better to just at least admit that you were wrong and do that than to suffer a life where you literally, your quality of life deteriorates because you need to hold on to this shit. I don't understand that. Like, that makes me sad for people, It's like you're willing to sacrifice your quality of life to hold on to a lie. It's like, why? Like, yo, let it go, bro. Like, who cares? Own up to your part in all of this stuff. That's, if anything, is the biggest lesson there. Own up to the things that you know that you've done. If you can ask for forgiveness or apologize, do that. And if it means that you get trolled for it, who cares? But you free yourself when you actually take responsibility and you mean it. You free yourself from the BS. And then that stuff no longer holds any power over you. Because guess what? Even if everybody thinks a certain way about you, it doesn't matter. Because guess what? Your life will still level up. You will level up. You got to trust that. But people just, they hold on to this and then it affects them. And then guess what? It starts to bleed into your family. I love my family too much to ever have the consequences of my actions affect them. I can't do that. No amount of ego is going to have me do that. I love my family too much. They shouldn't have to suffer the consequences of my actions, period. And imagine if more people thought that way. Our world would probably be a better place. Probably would. We'd have less drama in this life. So I don't know. We'll see. Oh my God, it's 12:23. Oh, well, let me show you where I'm at because we're probably going to stop here. Cool, isn't it? It always looks like really silly before it becomes really dope. So I'm going to fix this. I'm going to round this out a little bit more. I didn't see that. So I see the mistake there. I'm going to round that out a little bit more and then I'll shut this one down for the next time, which PS, next Saturday, God willing, Renee is going to host Bill and myself on her page. So God willing, it works out. If for whatever reason we need to reschedule, we'll be back here to be able to do to put the finishing touches on this piece. But if not, I'll definitely share it again on my community post to go check out Renee and I. and her guest Bill. He is so awesome. Like if you haven't watched the first one, I highly recommend that you do. Give Renee some love. She's also still, just need her prayer. We need prayers for Renee as well, just to, keep the energy going towards her, that she heals and that everything works out for her as well. But I'm very excited about it because Bill and I, like, that guy is so dope. Like, what a great human. And it's nice to hear it from a male's perspective, like how healing can become so like life-changing for so many people if we choose it. And to hear it from a male's perspective is probably the best, because like we hear a lot of women and we're more vulnerable to be able to talk about these things. But a man who is truly in his power and is, evolving the way that this man has, it's really refreshing to see it. And we had a really great chat the last time. Bill is really, really cool. Like, love the guy, really, really awesome. And, definitely check out her page and that interview. It happens, I think it was in April. It might be the only live she has right now. Definitely check her out, and definitely please, prayers for Renee are always welcomed. We love Miss Renee. She is awesome. The recovery process is a process. They don't say that for a reason, for any other reason than it being actually that. So prayers up to Miss Renee, and that she is doing well and recovering well. And then for the rest of you too, like, remember, all this stuff that we go through is temporary. And we don't realize how temporary it actually is until you reach a certain age and you're like, oh my God, I'm already here. One, thank you, God. But two, oh my God, I'm already here. Right? So all of this stuff is temporary. All of these, the disagreements, the fights, all of those things are temporary moments in our life. And if you take them as lessons versus trying to challenge them and trying to defend yourself everywhere, it kind of changes things for you, because then you start to prioritize what is important. Some battles are better left for God. Most of my battles are left to God, because I am not going to be pressed and stressed trying to keep up with what everyone is saying, what everyone's doing when it comes to this person, that. I can't invest my time in that. If CERN, okay, yes, Choose Peas, and yes, Boston Brady, if CERN is actually manipulating time where our days are actually shorter and we're aging quicker, I am not spending now less time focused on what someone else's problems that they focus on the problems that they chose to create themselves. That's a no for me, dog. Like, no. You want to run your mouth? Go ahead. Y'all can have it. Take it. Take it. Take all of it. But with this little amount of time that we are afforded, if you created problems for yourself, I don't feel bad for you. Especially if you're playing victim. I don't feel bad for you. Nope. Own your stuff, move on with your life, and deal with that good old friend named Karma, who always comes to collect at the most inopportune, I can't even speak, but you know what I mean. That time. The time that's the least convenient for all of us. And we all have met her, and we all know that she don't play. Okay, she ain't playing about certain people, and leave people alone, especially people that don't want to mess with you no more. Like if you need to drag a name that from the depths of your Rolodex, honey, you need to reevaluate your life choices at that point, honey. Yes, I said Rolodex. Okay, throw back to the Rolodex crew. My office life, I came in at the very tail end of the Rolodex crew. Okay. I knew some women, some EAs and stuff that had like a Rolodex. So that's really funny to just bring that up. But yeah, so I'm going to leave this one right here. So again, this is where we're at. Very cool. It's almost giving blue on this side, but I kind of like that. Blue might be the color that we add to this. It's giving less Prince Charles or King Charles. Excuse me for not using the appropriate monarchy term, but you know, it's giving very much less of that, more of like back to Chimi world of the interesting eyeballs. Okay. And I think it's going to look really cool in between all the other ones. Like already, hold on, can I hold these together? They're like vastly different, but how cool is that? Do you see the vision? Yes. Yes. It's so good. I know. Oh my God. Business cards. Stop it. Like now they have like the scanning code and all this stuff. Like you don't even design anything that's like that. Oh. Oh. But yeah, there's that. So let me look at the chat before we head out for this wonderful weekend. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here. Right, you guys? It's so cool. Like, I think this one, not to be biased, but like, she's moody. She's moody. She's giving a different energy. I feel like she's piercing into my soul. Like, this one is like, I'm trying to guide you in the right direction. I saw something. Calm down. And then this one is like, into the depths of your soul, I see you. You know, like, I see everything that you're trying to hide. Maybe that's what all of these should be. It's like personifications, or, you know, give a story behind them. I don't know. We'll think about that. But yes. Oh no, you had a. Oh no, it was gloomy and cold. Well, I'm glad that we brought a little bit of sun and fabulosity to your life. Right? She is deep. And thank you, my beautiful mods, my beautiful people. Thank you so much for spending your Saturday with me. I'm so grateful always. So again, for next week, we might go live with Renee, assuming that everything goes well. And if not, then we are going to just catch up here and finish this piece. I wanted to see, because I know it's already the end of May. It's June on Monday. Okay. So I wanted to like complete it, but it's okay. Cause like, it's kind of nice to do it every week. And that's kind of how I feel. Like the more I can just do it once a week, whatever the case may be, it's easier that way. So with that said, my beautiful people, thank you so much again for being here. I appreciate you all for your time, for your energy, for your love, for your support, for all of the YouTube-y things. If you feel so inclined, please like and share. I have to say these things, unfortunately, even though I'm like, look, just find me. If you need the light, I am the lighthouse. Come, you can come here. It's a nice place. You can come here. And, you know, we'll just catch up for the next one. So I will catch you soon. Love you all. Have a beautiful day. Peace. See you later. Bye.